essentially take the next phase in evaluating retiree health. What composition the Retiree Health Benefits Committee might take, or what its role would be, I think that's being evaluated at this time. So we're essentially in kind of a somewhat of a holding pattern as far as our interaction with Human Resources in the CEO's office, pending a proposal or a communication to us as to what kind of participation and what kind of role that committee would have going forward. I did meet with the, as I mentioned, with HR and Mercer, the consultant was available at that meeting. They had a draft review of utilization of the essentially the disease conditions and so forth that are manifesting, that are predominantly really the source of drawing down these monies drawing down these reserve monies. And I think that was one of the directions that came out, was to look at essentially where our costs are, where our predominant healthcare costs. So that report, a preliminary report, has been received. It is in draft format. Both HR and myself just offered comments and had questions. Mercer's going to be going back and recalculating and reviewing that report and then presenting a final report. They are also going to, at our request, be surveying 37 Act counties and looking at what the retiree health programs look like in other 37 Act counties. Everything from what the plan design is, to the vendors that are used, what the premiums are, and what the responsibilities are of the various parties. Just kind of on a preliminary surveys that have been done by Sackers and others. There are different designs wherein in some systems the county is responsible fiscally, in others it's a county and the retiree. In other systems there is an amount of participation by the Retirement Association in the form of excess earnings that come in to defray those costs. So there's a number of different ways that these plans are managed financially, and Mercer is going to be doing a survey of what those different designs are to assist Human Resources in making a recommendation going forward. Again, we anticipate working with them. They are still kind of designing their plan of attack, so to speak, on this issue. After the board took action to increase the retiree payment in the amount of the Medicare Part B payment to kind of create that equity there, there was direction that staff continue going forward and essentially look at that next phase. So where the county is at this point is in the design of that next phase. One of the things that I wanted to bring up with the board this morning was that there were two types of communication that were going on with the county. One was the Health Benefits Committee itself, which was developed kind of based on a formal document of the CEO's office. And then there was also communication between the Board of Retirement and the Board of Supervisors ad hoc committee. And what we'd like to do is to continue that communication going forward. I'm not sure if what the membership of that committee was, if it was a formal ad hoc committee, or if it was just the Board of Retirement essentially responding to a request from the Board ad hoc committee to meet with them. But I wanted to bring that before the board today because I think there's some interest in having some dialogue sooner rather than later as this planning process is occurring in the county, to have members of the Board of Retirement available to meet with the ad hoc and the Board of Supervisors.
The makeup last time was the chair, vice chair, Kendall, David, and the CEO staff.
The ad hoc committee?
This is separate from what you were dealing with. This was an overall picture of where we are with the retirement system and working together with the Board of Supervisors.
If that kind of composition is still acceptable to this board, then we could proceed with scheduling meetings with the county. If you wanted to consider and establish a different composition of an ad hoc, we want to bring that back in the form of an agenda item for action in January. Ideally, we would begin discussion sooner rather than later. So my recommendation would be is that absent any significant concerns, is that you stay with the chair and the vice chair, and we can begin meeting with the county.
I think that's a good idea. I think the county wants to get that going as soon as possible, which would take January. So I would definitely want to support that. So that would be Tim and Bob.
Just one other point that was clarified in our meeting with Mercer. I know there was some, again, before I just arrived here, but there was some concern, I think, previously with this board's access to Mercer, and I did discuss that with Human Resources, and we've been kind of given the green light to interact with Mercer. Should we have questions, if they're looking to the Board of Retirement to make any kind of recommendations or to be just a contributing stakeholder in this process, again, that's not clearly defined at this point what that role would be, but that we could directly work with Mercer to answer questions that we may have to participate. Yeah, for those on the Board of Retirement who might not be aware, is that Linda Klauser, the HR director, has tendered a resignation to the CEO's office. She's accepted employment with the Administrative Office of the Courts down in San Francisco, her hometown, and I think actually an excellent career opportunity for her. So we will have a changing of the guard in Human Resources, and specifically who will be the lead. I did ask Linda Klauser that in order for us really to effectively communicate with them, we needed to understand who would be the project lead in this, and the sooner the better. She was going to have conversations with the CEO's office and get back to us on who would be heading up that effort.
Very good. And there is no need for 5C. There's no discussion or action that we would send to the Board of Supervisors. Miscellaneous, I want to come back to public comment. We have two. Let's start with John Sackowitz. 3 minutes for a statement.
Yes, I asked a question in the last meeting. What was our bottom line cost for administrating our county's retirement system if you added up the cost of the operations of this office, Peter Chan, our investment advisor, and total up all the basis points for all the mutual fund managers? What was that cost? I wasn't given an answer in the following month. I'm wondering whether I should file a public information request, or will an answer be forthcoming?
Now, did you make an appointment with Jim, or?
Is that how you recommend I go?
Yeah, I would recommend you come in. That way you have all your questions. You have a lot of questions before us today. I would say you need to get educated. Come down, sit with these two fine gentlemen, and get your answers answered.
All right.
That would be the best way.
And my second question was, and I'll bring this before you, given the losses in this portfolio and the negative cash flow that we have and no reserves, is the retirement board and or the county contemplating a third issue of a pension obligation bond? And if so, will you be going to a vote or referendum for that?
Jim, will you have any comment on that?
I don't have any information that at this time that's being considered.
All right. I'll make.
Markets go up, markets go down. We have to wait it out.
Would comment just real briefly on that cash flow is not a problem for the retirement system. We have a positive cash flow from the county and the employees' contribution, and from